Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the pillars of faith. So, the actions that you do when you become a Muslim that you have to do. So, there are five things. Number one is the Shahada, which we have a video about. We declare that there's only one God worthy of worship and that Muhammad is his final prophet. Say this, and you're at least guaranteed paradise at some point, right? So if you do a lot of sins, then you may be punishable for them for a period of time. But if you said this, at least this guarantees you entrance if you believe in Allah and the last messenger, Prophet Muhammad. And the wisdom behind that is so you have to worship the one who created you, right? God created us so that we worship Him. This is our ultimate purpose. If we don't fulfill our purpose, then we don't do what we're made for, right? So if you have a robot that you designed, and you tell him, hey, clean my room or whatever, clean the house, clean the whatever, and he's not doing it. He's a good robot. He does charity. He helps other robots. Doesn't matter, right? He's not doing his purpose. So similarly, if you work for a company, right? Let's say you work for Google or something, okay, and you're a great employee, but not for Google, for Facebook. You're doing Facebook's work, okay. So you're actually even though you're doing good work, the good work is not to the rightful owner. So it doesn't matter, right? So if you at least do the bare minimum at Google, right, not at another company, then you're gonna be paid by Google, right? وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, for God is the best example. So if God, you're not worshiping God, you're worshiping someone else, even if you're a good person, if you know whatever, doesn't matter, it's all gonna go to waste. You have to actually worship the correct God. So you do that by the Shahada, which we have a video about, saying Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, declaring the oneness of God, right? So this is the first pillar and the most important pillar. Next pillar, a very, very important pillar, is praying 5 times a day. So insan, person, insan means human, comes from the root of nisyan, of forgetfulness. So if, as human beings, our characteristic behavior is forgetfulness. Like jinn, for example, the demon creatures of the realm of the unseen. Jinn from the root of unseen, right? Like Janine, Jan, all these things are unseen things, right? Jannah are covered in lush gardens. Is a paradise is covered in lush gardens. You can't see it. Janine is is the embryo within the womb. You can't see it. All those things, right? So that's kind of the root. The root of people is ins. So we are known as the forgetful creature. So we need the reminders. We need constant reminders, right? So we have 5 times per day a reminder. So in the hadith it says that, what do you think about someone who bathes in a river 5 times a day? Would they be, would you find any dirt on them? Would they be unclean? And the answer is obviously no, right? So this is a purification, right? Uh, of course, if you're a good person, you're gonna get distracted. You're gonna get tempted. You're gonna get, the devil is obviously his job is to put you off the straight path. So it's constantly, constantly, constantly telling you to do things, constantly trying to distract you. So if you wash and pray 5 times a day, you're zoning out of the world and kind of going into that realm of you're talking to God, right? That is your 5 times a day reminder that you're going to be doing a task. If you're working, and 5 times during the day you have reminders of your work, you're not going to procrastinate on your tasks, right? So similarly, out of mind, out of sight. If you have something that's constantly on your mind because you're dedicated specific time for it, you're organizing your day around it, then you're going to be a lot more productive. You're going to be a lot more, successful. Which is why prayer is success. Um, I I used to I used to find it very difficult to pray in the masjid. Let's say you don't have to pray in the masjid, especially for women. At the masjid means mosque. So I was always confused about how these people who are very successful, they find the time to pray in the mosque. And it actually, when I started doing it, that's when I knew that this is the reason for it, is because it organizes you. You have to plan your whole day. You can't waste any time, right? you thinking it's counterproductive. You're like, okay, I'm wasting all this time getting to the mosque, doing all this when I could just pray at home or whatever. But actually, when you chunk out your time so much, time is going to be so much more precious. And it, even if you're not going to the mosque or anything, just dedicating that time, it actually makes you a lot more successful of a person. Not only does it get rid of, your temptations, not only does it organize you, not only does it constantly get you into that relation with God, it literally in every single way makes you more successful. So that's why when you do the call to prayer, you say, "Hayya ala salah, hayya al falah." Come to prayer, come to success. Success is literally because of prayer, and it is the most important after the shahada, after the most important pillar. To the point that there is a hadith that says that whoever does not pray, it is, it's as if they're not even Muslim, right? So, especially, you have to believe in that the act of prayer as a fundamental pillar of Islam to become a Muslim, right? So, some people might leave it off because of laziness, and some people might say, "Oh, that doesn't take them out of the fold of Islam." But prayer is literally the most important thing. It will change your life. It will revolutionize your life. Prayer is extremely, extremely, extremely important. Next, we have fasting, right? So, fasting in the month of Ramadan, you fast from dawn to dusk, not from sunset to sundown, from dawn to dusk. So, pre-dawn, before the sun comes up, right at dawn, that's when you start your fast, and you fast from eating, drinking, any carnal desires, right? And of course, there's a lot of benefits for it. People nowadays do intermittent fasting. Um, so it has a ton of benefits, but that's not why we do it. We do it so that we gain what's called taqwa. Taqwa is the God consciousness, right? So some people translate it as the fear of God, but it's not like the like unshakable, paralyzing, debilitating fear. It is actually consciousness of Allah. Like you fear to disobey Allah because you are aware of His existence. You're constantly aware of Him. So fasting, right? Imagine someone who doesn't have enough money to feed themselves, right? Are they going to be worried about other things, or do you think they're going to be tempted to do, bad deeds, right? Not really, not as much, right? So the less you eat, the more spiritually satiated you'll be. Also, when you're in the habit of like um, restraining yourself, you're gonna be able to have better discipline. You're gonna be able to restrain yourself from other things, right? So if you can restrain yourself from what's normally permissible, you're gonna be able to restrain yourself from the impermissible. After that, we have the zakah, which is the 2.5% of extra wealth that you is that a year has passed on, right? So think about it. It's not gonna be that much, right? I'll make specific videos about each of these actually so I can get in depth. But at one point in the Khilafah of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, they ran out of poor people. The system works so well that you're getting a percent of your extra earnings, and that percent, if someone's extremely rich, that percent is going to be a big number. But if they're really poor, percent is not going to be that much. And if they're really, really poor, then they're going to receive the money. So it's going to equalize everyone, right? So it is a truly ingenious system of, economy, and Muslim economics is really the way to go to end poverty, end hunger, to end everything. Subhanallah. So it's all ingrained in the system. Next, after zakah, the paying of that amount of money, which you do once a year, you can. The next is Hajj, which you do once in your whole life. So it revolutionizes you. It is a point where once you perform it, once you perform the Hajj, which is the pilgrimage to Mecca, all your previous sins are forgiven, right? So it's an opportunity. Someone did a lot of bad, in their life. Now it's another opportunity to start fresh, just like the Shahada. So that way they could do this and, to get their requirement. Um, Wait for more videos where I explain each of these in detail. But this is kind of a summary, almost a 10-minute summary of the 5 pillars of Islam and some of the benefits that come with it. Thank you so much for watching. Inshallah, we'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.